Okay, our next short video is on step three, getting the customer's point of view. So we've got the context, we've got our estimates, and now we're going to get the value from the customer's perspective. We're going to do this and just kind of overview three methods to get those perceptions. The typical interview is what we've described in Field Guide pages 95 to 100. I want to give you a version of a very short conversation, a 10-minute meeting, as well as there's several contexts in which satisfaction is the metric. And so I wanted to add a way to look at and diagnose satisfaction. Excuse me. The typical interview is one in which we're asking, and we overviewed this a little bit in class already, asking what are the options, open and fashion, discover who the competition is here. So what are the options, and then pick one or maybe a couple to compare yourself to in the interview. What factors do you consider when choosing? Again, open-ended to start. You can add the factors you enumerated in worksheet 2 a little bit later. How important are each of those factors? And then beliefs. For each factor, who's better? Which competitor would you rate as superior? Or are they about the same? You remember column 4 is about deficits. Is anybody below expectations on any of those? And then we'll talk here briefly, momentarily, about laddering. So you'll remember worksheet 3 is a replicate of worksheet 2. It's just that the questions are framed as if you're speaking to someone and asking them questions. And again, we just followed the same format. What are the factors? First of all, who's the competitor? Right? What are the factors? How important are each of them on 3 points? What do they believe about us versus them? Who's better? Are we about the same? Any either below expectations on any factor. So looking for deficits here, and then laddering. Discuss coming up here. You'll need more space for the laddering here. This only gives you a starting point, but um, key is asking why. What do we get from this? What does a ladder show us? This is a study that was done for FedEx and actually had a significant impact on subsequent communications campaign for FedEx. Study of secretaries or administrative assistants. And we'll start down here at the bottom. A ladder begins with a concrete attribute. So we're starting with a feature or attribute, something that's specific. Again, this is not the word quality here because quality, it's difficult to ladder on quality. It's too general a term. So if they say quality or if you've got quality in there, you've got to, again, define that more clearly. What are they, ask them, what do you mean by quality? Or what are the dimensions of quality here? And if they say 3 of them, then pick the most important one and move on. But the question here with the approach to means end analysis, why do you rate satisfaction for FedEx so highly? Well, here it gives you the concrete attribute. Well, why is on-time delivery important to you? Okay. Now, if you have a concrete attribute here, people can answer that question, and they'll think about it. It's kind of interesting. Recipient knows we're reliable was a common response here. So automatically the secretary is reflecting upon the recipients, might be a partner, might be a client, their perception of us. Um, this is the next why question, but keep in mind you're looking for outcomes here. You're looking for why things are important. You can ask this question different ways. So another way to ask is what do you get when the recipient knows we're reliable? So you don't necessarily have to ask why all the time. You can change it. I'm going to leave that open here for the moment and get you to think about that. What do you think the answer is there? Um, with regard to the highest level value, why is whatever important to you? What they said was, well, it makes me feel in control or peace of mind. The interesting thing here is that it could be a variety of things. It could be things that are related to the company's success, could be related to my boss's success, could be related to my success, but what you get here, and the label is called psychosocial consequence, would be something that relates, has to do with relationships with other people, or has to do with something personal to the in this case the secretary. And interestingly, what the secretary said at this point was that, well, you know what? At this level, I'm really concerned about doing a good job for the boss and looking good and getting advancing in the organization and doing well in my review and that kind of thing. So this is a personal kind of value, and the result of this and related. There's several ladders that came out of this study, but what you find is that at this level, once you get past kind of the functional consequence here, this is something that people tend to connect with, because now you're thinking a little bit more deeply. You're not all the way up to these. This is a bit esoteric, but this is a really concrete kind of outcome here that people can relate to and can be reflected in communications, let's say. A second study here in product development, Infiniti, took about 30 attributes of one of their newly designed cars and laddered on them. So in this case, it has a round view mirror to really identify why this was important. In a variety of ways. Functional benefits that emerge where it makes blind spots more visible, won't back into something. How about experiential benefits, or this is really, it would be psychosocial benefits as well. What do you think goes in there? The outcome was, again, peace of mind. You'll find that at the highest level, there are a few attributes, a few benefits, values that really emerge. Peace of mind, being in control, my family, achievement, having a sense of satisfaction with things. But they're always driven by more functional and experiential benefits here. In this case, the people said they wanted to, it wasn't a matter of safety or anything like that. They wanted to protect the asset, so they wanted to avoid stressful damage to the car. Infiniti used this approach to prioritize the attributes, because keep in mind that it cost dollars to put this feature in the car. Of all the features they were considering, which were most important, and you can identify importance by really understanding the values that drive the significance of that. So this was one that they did absolutely put into the car, into the new design. The 10-minute meeting. If you only got 10 minutes to spend with someone, get right to the issue of choice, or immediately get into comparison. And don't worry about getting too many factors out on the table. So first of all, identify the options. Right? Or what's a relevant competitor here for you? If they have chosen recently, you can say, all right, most recently you chose brand X. Maybe that's us. What was the main reason, and why was that important to you? Again, ask them to be specific on the main reason. You can get a little bit into laddering. You don't have to get too far, but at least ask, why was that important to you? Okay, let's go to why. The other brand. You didn't choose why. What was the main reason? Okay, and again, why was that important to you? You're going to complete this picture with two other points. What was the main positive about brand Y? You didn't choose it, but there was something positive about it. What was the reason you would give it a positive evaluation? And again, if you can squeeze it in, why was that important? And then let's go back to brand X. Was there anything negative about that? Anything that you didn't like, or that needed improvement, or might have been a reason you might not have chosen it? Okay. Now the idea is here, even if they haven't done engaged in a choice recently, you still could ask. Just identify these two brands. What do you like about brand X? What don't you like about brand Y? What do you like about brand Y? What don't you like about brand X? It gives you this kind of a framework. What you're after are 4 pieces of information. If you only got 10 minutes, this is what you got to get. The main positive and the main negative of each. And then if you can squeeze it in, certainly why important. If this is your brand, right, I want to know why they chose us and why that was important to them. I probably want to know what's negative and why that's important, for sure. But you get a complete picture, and even just this short amount of information will allow you to populate the 3-circle model as a useful approach to getting, in a short period of time, a fair amount of information. Third, diagnosing satisfaction here. Another way to kind of do the same thing we just talked about is, instead of asking about choice, because several of you have driving satisfaction as your metric here. When you think about this category again, which brands or choice options are you most familiar with? So you're not necessarily asking about choice here, but you can identify competitors again, and then let's take brand X. Okay, let's say you gave it a 1 to 10 rating. What would you give it? So, and I'm just going to pick out a number 8. Very quick way to get at the main positive and main negative of each would be to say brand X. If you gave it an 8. What's the main thing, the main positive that kept you from giving it a lower rating? Okay, in other words, why'd you give it an 8 and not a 6 or a 7? very easy question to ask. People can get their hands around that real quick. The main negative, what kept you from rating it a 9 or a 10? Okay. So you kind of have, why didn't you rate it lower here? What kept you from rating it higher? And right there you go. That people can answer that incrementally. These are questions of the format designed by Tom Reynolds and some of the work he's done in satisfaction measurement. Same questions for brand Y, and then you can also break out quickly, either add up here or do later, why are these factors important? Okay, quick and easy way. I'm going to go back one slide. Keep in mind that this is what we're after. If you have a short period of time, get after these 4 bits of information. There you go. We'll be on to videos soon for sorting and a little bit more on growth strategy, but that's how you collect data in this project. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.